All right. Well, that was pretty depressing all around. Um, okay, that's a 125, 114 final. As the Hornets beat the Knicks in MSG and the Knicks 4-game winning streak and take the Knicks tragic number down to one as the Hawks are either, I don't know if they've officially won yet, but they're demolishing the Thunder in Oklahoma City tonight. So if the Knicks lose another game or the Hawks win another game, the Knicks are mathematically eliminated. But then again, we knew the Knicks season was going this way before the All-Star break. It's not the story tonight. The story tonight is yet again, as has been the case for so many games this season, the decision making of the Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau, who on a night when the Knicks, I'm not gonna say they didn't have anything going on offense because they scored 114 points. Um, you know, so like yeah, they did some things. Evan Fournier had a great night offensively, he was making a ton of threes. But just on a night where there was a general lacklusterness, not a word, but I'm going to use it as a word anyway. A lack of any kind of a spark whatsoever to their play, particularly with the starters. And again, I know Fournier had a good night offensively, but there was just wasn't any zip, wasn't any pop at either end of the floor, especially on defense. We'll get to the defense in a sec. The one guy, as has often been the case this season, who provided some of that zip was Emmanuel Quickley. And sure enough, Emmanuel Quickley was in the fourth quarter of this game and took the Knicks from being down 10 to after he got fouled on a goaltend or fouled on a play that was called a goaltend, got the Hornets lead down to, I think it was a single point or 3 point, whatever it was. But he got the Knicks closer than they had been at any point. Got the lead down to 2. A missed offense or a missed defensive rebound on the other end gave the Hornets a second chance. They made a 3. Quickly came down the other end, tried to draw a foul, missed a 3, and then out of the game he goes for Evan Fournier. And it's not that Quickly for Evan Fournier is the thing that's going to drive people nuts, because Evan Fournier again was having himself quite an offensive game, and he wasn't even that bad on defense. It was just the fact that, like, yet again, it was just, I think, honestly, the reason why everybody's going to be up in arms tonight is because it was symbolic. It was symbolic of something that we've seen happen again and again and again this season, which is the best thing about this team is their youth and the young players. And I don't think anybody embodies that right now more than Emmanuel Quickly. And, you took him out of the game, and like it was very clear to anyone who's been watching this team at any point this year that the moment Quickly comes out of the game that they were going to lose. And sure enough, they did lose. Now, as for the reasons they lost, and as for whether or not keeping Emmanuel Quickly in the game would have resulted in a win, I think that gets into dicier territory. I think the reason they lost this game is because they gave up 125 points, and there was almost an overt commitment to not play defense. And that goes for pretty much everyone. I thought RJ Barrett, I know he ended up having, I don't know, whatever he had. He ended up having 20 something points on, decent efficiency for him. 25 points on 17 shots. That's fine. He had some nice moves. His defense was really bad tonight. He had some really bad missteps. But again, you're more willing to forgive that because, still learning, whatever, getting used to the increased load. It wasn't just him. I thought he had really bad runs. That's why I did want to say his name first. I thought Julius Randle, Julius Randle on a stat line, 21 points on 16 shots. I don't care. And that leads me to my main takeaway of the game, which is that I am not shocked that Julius Randle played in this game because we talked about it on the playback. Shout out to all of our patrons who were on there and who watched along with us. I'm not shocked that he played because if you don't play him, then it becomes just very blatantly obvious what's going on and that the Knicks need to move him. So you had to send him out there. I get that. I get that if he's healthy, he's going to close the game. I get that. But to me, it is not a coincidence that the Knicks, particularly, again, their starting unit, with the exception of Mitch. I thought Mitch was pretty good. their defensive, and honestly, it wasn't just their starting unit, just overall team defense tonight was just it was like a team that was distracted. To me, it was like watching a team that was collectively distracted. And I am not surprised that they played like a team that was collectively distracted because they have a player on their roster who continues to play minutes. And again, this falls on Tibbs every much as the Quickly decision, albeit in a different way, who just looks like he doesn't care about doing things to win basketball games right now. I thought the effort that Randall came out with on defense was atrocious. I thought his shot selection was atrocious. I didn't think, I know he ended up with 7 assists. Okay, fine. He eventually got into it and whatever. That guy should never play another minute of basketball for the Knicks again, as long as he lives. That's my takeaway, that we watched a team that was kind of like had reached the point where like they don't want to play them and he doesn't want to be here. And that was very pervasive, and it was pervasive for everyone, probably except Emmanuel Quickly. But yeah, their defense was atrocious. That's why they lost the game. Couldn't stop anyone. Didn't make a commitment to stop anyone. And yeah, 5 games left in the season, and here we are. And like people are going to point out, like Alec Burks is still playing 40 minutes. So there's definitely a conflict of interests here. With a coach who's coaching it like, with rotations it's like game 4 of a playoff series or whatever. And the team is just not really in a position where most people want to see that. And I don't blame anybody. So there you go. Okay. With all of that said, I really don't have much else to say about this game. I'm just, again, I would like to reiterate, even though they had just won 4 in a row, and even though they've been playing so much better of late, I'm looking forward to the season and moving on and turning a new leaf as an organization, because there are just certain things that I don't want to watch anymore, and I don't want to argue about anymore or talk about anymore. And I think a lot of those problems will get solved with some things that they could do this summer. Anyway, Guy Huber then starts us off. Honestly, the worst part of Tibbs is that he does it to himself. He doesn't need to do things like pull IQ or play Burks 40 gosh darn minutes. But hey, yeah, he does. And that's been the most frustrating part for those of us who continue to defend Tom Thibodeau as a good NBA coach, which he is. Again, broken record, but he is. The man knows how to motivate. The man knows how to draw up a game plan, all those things. But his decision-making is baffling, and his decision-making overshadows everything else that he does. So yeah, it makes people want to not have him coach their team anymore. And again, I don't blame anybody for that. Robert Cross, long time gone. Is Tibbs the right coach to develop the Knicks' talent? Look, again, opinions are all over the place on this. I think the fact that everybody is in general consensus that the best thing about this team is the young talent, in an organization that you could count over the last 20 years, the young players that they've drafted and really truly developed, you could count those players on one hand. I actually think that's an argument that, yes, part of it is drafting well, but another part of it is like coaching staff and like they know what they're doing to bring these kids along. So I would say yes. I understand my opinion is not a popular one, but like Steve Popper had a good retweet earlier today of some, Greg Popovich said, and some reporter asked him about like, why aren't the young players playing more minutes? Or like, do you think it's okay that the young players are not playing more minutes? And he was like, the best development is when guys play minutes where there's real stakes and where there's it's the accountability argument, right? And that's Greg Popovich, who's considered, one of the 2 or 3 best coaches of all time. I'm not saying Tibbs is Greg Popovich, but there are other coaches of some renown in the league who have the same philosophy as Tibbs. That's all I'll say. Harry Donor, I will never understand Tibbs pulling IQ in the middle of that run. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for a lot of reasons, most of which are the fact that we watched the game and we knew where the game was going to go. and we knew how the game was going to go the moment that quickly was taken out. So, yeah. Apologies, by the way. Apparently, my connection is skipping. I don't know why that is, but hopefully, it's not too bad. Danny Gardner, what's going on, Danny? I made this comment a few weeks ago, but once again, RJ had a great first half and barely touched the ball in the third. It's insane how they constantly operate so slow and stupid with redacted out there. Look, that's my main takeaway from this game. I could not fathom being a player on this team and watching Randall just get to come out and do what he wants to do after how he acted at the end of the last game. And allegedly, said whatever he said in the locker room afterwards. I don't know that. We've gotten different reports. I haven't been able to confirm that, but like we talked about on the pod today, me and Benji, he's definitely not been a good teammate. And I think guys don't like playing with him. So yeah, and we're just more of the same. More of the same for this game. Slacker hero. Tibbs pulled IQ for Burks, who spurred on the comeback. Wish I could say I'm surprised, but we've seen this movie before. Randall was completely checked out in the third. Randall was checked out from the opening tip. Yeah, Randall was checked out from the opening tip. So I'm not surprised. Yeah. Okay. Apparently we're gonna restart with Andrew sending me a Zoom link. So we're gonna go ahead and hit pause on this, and I am going to go ahead and go into a new Zoom link, and we're gonna start restreaming. Andrew is somehow gonna be able to pull this off. Don't worry, if you have a super chat, we are going to get to your super chat. So just be patient, and we're just gonna go ahead and head over to a new Zoom link because apparently my internet is acting as competently as Tom Thibodeau with his decision making at the end of this game. And on that note, please bear with us for technical difficulties. All right.